Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We're coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. We're going to stay in mid-Michigan right now. We're going to spend a little time with Shibani Putatunda. She is the economic specialist with the Michigan Department of Data and Analytics, which is within the Michigan Department of Technology and Management. That is a huge business card. Welcome to the show, Shibani. Good to have you on.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at Michigan's labor market this month, would you?
Sure. So, Michigan's unemployment rate rose by 0.2 of a percentage point in October to 4.7%. This gain occurred after 2 months of the unemployment rate holding steady at 4.5% during August and September. Employment fell by 9,000 and total unemployment rose by 6,000 over the month. This was actually the seventh consecutive month that we saw a total unemployment increase in the state. As a result, Michigan's workforce was reduced by 3,000 or 0.1% during October, and the state's unemployment rate increased by 0.5 percentage point over the year.
So when we talk about unemployment rate, these are people who were in the employment seeking circumstance and didn't get jobs.
Correct.
Is that it?
They're actively looking for work. Correct.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting because one of the biggest challenges to business right now is getting people.
Mhm.
And when you see that bump up, you say to yourself, kind of what's going on? Or maybe it's a mismatch of skills needed and people not having those skills. So, how did Michigan's unemployment rate compare with the U.S. and other states in October?
So Michigan's unemployment rate during October was 0.6 of a percentage point larger than the national rate, which was 4.1%. And Michigan was tied with New Jersey, South Carolina, and the state of Washington in having the fifth highest jobless rate in the nation.
Oh, that's interesting. So, tell me, were there any particular industries that had the greatest change?
Yep. Seasonally adjusted payroll jobs in the state edged down slightly by 1,000 over the month, and there was little change in most major industries, but the largest sector decline occurred in the state's leisure and hospitality industry, with employment falling by 5,000 over the month. Over the year, payroll jobs rose by 53,000 or 1.2%. And the prominent over the year gain in industry employment was partially due to layoffs and strike activity in the auto industry that occurred during October of 2023. The largest over the year industry sector increases occurred in government and construction.
So let's go by region. How did Michigan's regions do this month?
15 of Michigan's 17 regions experienced unemployment rate increases over the month. The largest rate gain occurred in the Monroe metro area. Employment fell in 15 Michigan labor market areas over the month, with the largest percent decrease occurring in the Northeast Lower Michigan region. 14 regions exhibited labor force decreases during October, and over the year, all 17 Michigan regions had unemployment rate gains, with the Monroe metro area having the largest over the year rate gain of 1.4 percentage points.
So, what key takeaways? Because when I look at this, it's kind of a potpourri, kind of a mixed bag for me to understand. Um, are there still people out there not working but not seeking work? I guess that,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Is there any way to measure that?
Not with the data that we produce, but with the current population survey, which is a big indicator that provides our data. They have data on those who are not actively seeking work and are out of the labor force as well.
Okay, gotcha. This is a difficult one to put your hands on, and I'm kind of a numbers analytical guy because otherwise things are anecdotal. You know what I mean? And you really like to know what the basics are. But again, I say, our Michigan Future Business Index, which we do every 6 months, number one or number two is still talent after like 4.5 years, for goodness sakes. You see any solution for this? I know you're an analytical person, but let's
Mhm.
go to that kind of anecdotal area.
So we only produce the data. We can't speak on any policy or anything like that.
That's a huge disclaimer. No, that's all right. Well, listen, we are so glad you came on and kind of shared your data. And this is important, I think, for people to really look at numbers besides, because those are the hard, cold kind of facts of that. How can they get more involved in the numbers? How can they find these kinds of stats?
So we have a website where you can find all of our data. It's michigan.gov/MCDA. We also have research publications and our press releases there. We also have an app, the My Economy app, where you can download our data.
Well, Shibani Putatunda, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. She's the economic specialist with the Michigan Center for Data and Analytics within the Department of Technology Management and Budget with the state of Michigan. Thanks for setting us straight on the numbers. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good Thanksgiving, by the way.
You too.
All right. I'm Chris Holman, and you're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.